Hey, what's up? Charles here at BARRETT Jackson Garage. Well, you might recognize me from another garage and maybe by a different name, Sleeves. I just got back from SEMA where I saw tons of killer builds, and the first order of business here at the garage is to do this 1969 Camaro. It's a very iconic car, known for Too Fast, Too Furious. Paul Walker is the driver. I'm gonna be giving this car a completely new facelift. New engine, new transmission, new frame, new brakes, the whole 9 yards. You're gonna wanna follow us on social media. This thing's gonna be happening really fast. Wait, and I'm definitely wearing the wrong. Much better. We gotta get on this, fast. I'm a couple of hours into dismantling the Camaro. We've run into a couple of hiccups. It's got a couple of different things that normally a 69 Camaro wouldn't have. It's got some camera rigging. I'm gonna pick back up tomorrow and hopefully I'll make a lot of progress. So I've got the motor, transmission, the subframe out of the Camaro. A lot of planning, checking, double checking, making sure everything was disconnected. I did run into one little problem. I had a brake line that I forgot to cut, well, disconnect, but I ended up having to cut it, which is not a big deal because if this ever gets reinstalled in the car, all I have to do is make one brake line. So considering how much this is and how big of a project it is to tackle, it went fairly easily. I don't want to jinx myself, but hopefully the rest of the build goes like this. Well, I got to the shop today, huge surprise. New GM Performance crate engine. It's an LS7. We got our 6L80 transmission and we have the control pack to run everything. Basically, what we're gonna do is tear the motor down. We're going to paint and make it as correct in time period correct as possible to what would have come in a 1969 Camaro. So my job today is going to be to dismantle the engine, only down to the accessories coming off. I don't want to actually get into the internals of the motor, so I'm going to get it stripped down, get it to the paint shop. As soon as he gets it back, we'll be able to install it.
Well, we met with the guys from GM Performance in SEMA. They told us that they wanted us to be the first ones to get one of these new engines. So this is an LS. This is LS-based engine. This is an LS7. This has changed a lot from when the engine came in.
Yeah,
Give me an update.
It's basically the stock LS7 with the cam. You know, we have a GM hot cam in it. I've made it look as much as possible like a big block. And by doing that, you know, we've got the valve covers, stock style air cleaner. And these are all things that you can just purchase to make them look this way. The plug wires are situated where we put the coils in the back, where traditionally on an LS, they're on the valve cover. Also, we've got our front runner setup that's predominantly blacked out. We want it to kind of disappear into the engine bay because, you know, that's how it was back then. We're trying to keep that orange block, cast intake, air cleaner. If you look in there, if you look real quick, you might think it's a big block.
Well, it's a 427.
It is a 427. It displaces the same amount of cubic inches, but
it's a little more modern.
Yeah, it's a little tiny motor. It's an aluminum motor, so we're shaving some weight for sure.
Well, and little bitty air compressor on it. So.
Oh, for sure. Everything's modernized. It's going to have all the bells and whistles, power steering, air conditioning. So
all the creature comforts and a run on pump gas.
Yes, it will.
And most of them, when they came in the C6s, they were all dry sump. This is the first wet sump engine. You seen any differences?
Well, so basically making it a wet sump changes the oil pan and everything else that would attach to a dry sump. You get rid of basically the oil tank, everything that makes it fit in a Corvette. So we're, you know, basically having the best of both worlds. You know, we're putting a 540 horsepower Z06 motor in a Camaro.
Yep, and it'll fit exactly, because now you've got a wet sump. You don't have to figure out where in this car, which the main goal was not to cut the car or alter the car, just drop a new drivetrain and suspension and frame in it, and this engine should work perfect for that.
Absolutely, they're making it modular for us so that we can get it, you know, put in there with as much ease as possible. I will say that, as possible.
I'll check back when you drop it in and
yeah.
lower the body.
We'll see.
And with a 6-speed automatic.
It's a 6L80 and it's a 6-speed. This particular package from GM Performance came with the torque converter, came with the control pack that runs the engine and transmission, the computer. So it's all plug and play pretty much, as can be expected.
Wow. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, 6-speed, cruising on the highway, getting 20 miles to the gallon. Who would have thought?
Essentially has 2 overdrives when we were looking at the specs with them in Vegas.
First gear's real tall, and it gets real high once you get up to the 6th gear, so it'll highway for sure. And depending on what you're going to use it for.
Cruising and rallying, that's what we're using it for.
Well, there you go.
It's an ultimate sleeper now, if anybody remembers what the car was before.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Thank our guys and our friends at GM Performance, and we will take this engine out and put it through its paces.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Our Roadster Shop chassis is here. Tell us, walk us through what we are looking at.
So this is a Roadster Shop spec chassis, and basically what that means is it's the modernized suspension that would go under an old vehicle. And they make it this way so that it gives you all the modern suspension, braking, gives you a rack and pinion. Look at the size of that sway bar.
Yeah.
So it means business. We're talking
with coilover, so
right.
it's a...
We're talking handling, for sure.
Now it'll handle. And the way that these F-bodies were was a subframe and then rear end. So it's all tied together now.
Right.
So it should add a lot of rigidity.
For
the
sure.
best thing I like is this will go under the original car without cutting anything.
Absolutely. So every pickup point has new bushings. It all attaches to the bottom side of the car, and it actually adds a couple of points of contact with the body. So you're right, it does make it stiffer. And the cool part about it is it's already made for our LS. It's already made for our 6L80. All we have to do is have a drive shaft cut, throw some exhaust on it, and
we're off to the races.
yes, literally.
Walk us through the back of the car. So the rear end assembly is completely different. They built a 4-link into this.
Right. Traditionally, it would have had leaf springs on the Camaro. And basically, you know, adding the 4-link gives it that much better of a control as far as like cornering and handling. And it gives you the ability to, you know, adjust everything. So the housing is 389 gear, which with mated the 6L80, 2 overdrives.
Well, I'm excited. Let's get the brakes hung on this thing. We don't have a whole lot of time. We got 30 days to Scottsdale.
Yeah, it's coming down to the wire, but as you know, I'm used to working under duress. I feel like I excel.
I think we could get it done in 5 days if we really worked hard.
This guy.
Well, here's the body untouched from the movie car, and that's as much as we want to go with it, but we got some areas we need to address. So,
for sure.
Charles,
and
what'd you find?
The reason that we want to do a little bit of paint work down here is we've got some chipping and stuff going on. If we don't get ahead of this, it's just going to keep chipping. So we'll retain everything from here up.
And just leave the molding on it.
For sure.
Keep the originality.
This will be the tape line. We'll just we'll blend up all this in with the color of the car as close as possible. It's going to be so far down. You got to think the car's going to be down on the ground. So,
yeah.
But for the most part, we're just going to kind of go around the car and take care of anything that's kind of chipping, you know, just over the top, kind of messed up. But for the most part, we're
not repainting or redoing
yeah.
the car. We're leaving the car.
Wink, wink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't drop this down. I want to see it. Be here for this. Been waiting a long time.
Perfect timing.
How about that? Well, been watching it move along. I've been waiting for it to come down finally. So
yeah, it's I did a little bit of measuring. Hopefully, I don't have any fitment issues. This Roadster Shop chassis is supposed to be
looks like it clears.
very straightforward. So hopefully,
You think the tunnel will clear the
well, I massaged it a little bit.
6L80 transmission?
Yeah, we did a little bit of massaging on it. So how's it looking over there?
It looks good. Valve cover is clear.
Got
The distributor area is clear.
still looking good.
Yep, the fans to the front assembly is clear.
Okay.
The headers to the engine mounts clear.
All right, I'm gonna leave it in your hands. You tell me if I.
Really nothing else that it can hit other than the transmission to the tunnel. The beauty of this is having one frame to deal with.
Yes, all the modern conveniences with that old school look. So I think we pretty much nailed it.
Excellent. Can't wait to hear it run and drive.
Yeah.
Got what, a week till Scottsdale to have it sitting in GM's booth, so
No pressure, right?
no pressure.
Hey, don't worry about it. I'm used to it.